asking people how they're doing and start asking people how they're feeling.
So I gotta make sure I'm watching the news.
God will never waste pain that's offered to him. Nothing is ever wasted.
Everybody that I gotta play the week gon' be straight. And that we tie that red that you won't hit, so you better not be late.
This is a place of development, and I'm not gonna die here.
Cause I love it, I don't care about the fame.
Yo, welcome to the Young Vagabond podcast, man, where we navigate the journey of life together through truth and love. I'm your co-host, Bryson.
And I'm your co-host, DJ.
And it is season 3, episode 7. Count my blessings. I hope
think
that.
so.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure it's episode 7.
See, I usually prepare to rhyme before I do it, but I forgot what number we was on.
It's all right, because that was still good. And let's just hope it's up. You know
Hey. Episode 7, count my blessings. Best believe this is a mouthpiece from heaven because we walking and we holy stepping. You feel me?
That's hard. That's hard.
Well, it'll be episode 7 no matter what, actually.
That's
I
God's
hope
favorite
so.
number too, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Number of completion.
Exactly.
So we ain't even worried. But hey, man, we here, episode 7 probably. And want to welcome y'all to the Young Vagabond podcast, man. Want to remind y'all just real quick, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, make sure to hit that follow button. We appreciate all of you guys. Make sure if you guys want to, you guys can support us through Cashapp or PayPal. That'll be down in the link description below. Also, make sure to follow all of the links in the description. Follow that Instagram, that TikTok, and that LinkedIn page. We don't have a LinkedIn page. That was a joke, man.
Wow.
Hey, I've been on LinkedIn, though. Been connections.
Networking.
Have to, man.
Business mergers and acquisitions.
All day, every day.
Manufacturing.
Logistics.
Hey.
Operational management. Anyways,
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for subscribing
Computer science guy.
and following. Just appreciate everyone who's a part, man. Shout out to our Give-A-Bond or Donate-A-Bonds.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of y'all. And everybody who just follows. And of course, if you like this episode and want to, share it with somebody else, we really appreciate that. We appreciate everyone who does share, whether it be an episode or a clip.
Yes, sir.
So thank you guys so much for all of that. And of course, if it's impacting you positively, let us know in the comments. We really appreciate all those encouraging testimonies and things like that. But hey, man, we got a good episode today.
Yeah.
We got an amazing guest. He's super excited, or we're super excited to have him. He's super excited to be here.
I am.
But hey, man, we got just a graduating senior,
Yeah.
science major, a man of God,
yeah.
entrepreneur. Man is a legend, a
Appreciate it,
huge
man.
contributor on this campus.
Yes,
A
sir.
member
Appreciate
of the oldest black collegiate fraternity on campus,
yes,
or not on campus, in the world, Alpha Phi Alpha
of
Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes, sir.
All around amazing guy.
Oh, yeah.
We got Austin Wheeler. Everybody give
Appreciate
it
it.
up.
Great to be here. It's a blessing, man.
With the fresh chop.
Man, I just got a lineup, man. It's just a lineup. For real. It ain't something slight. It's nothing.
It's just a line-up, man. It's just a line-up, man.
It ain't
See, look, I'm gonna tell you now, Austin. Like, I love DJ, but like dealing with like 2 types of DJs on the mic, though.
man.
I don't know how we gonna do this, cause like the whole little smooth talk. I just got a line.
It's the humility, man. Like, just, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, he's just
trying
fresh.
to.
I mean, that's
Fresh and so
what it
clean,
is.
man.
Fresh
Bro,
is
look,
so clean.
It is
look,
what
bro.
it is.
That's how DJ be on the mic. He be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if
The
you,
light skin face.
yeah, look.
You're not even the lightest skin up here. Wow.
I'm telling you, bro. Look, he be on his time. He be like, look, bro, I love Jesus. I just got a retwist.
Man.
And like, if you looking for a man of God,
We were just talking about that too, man.
I'm Darian Joseph Hardy from Fort Worth, Texas. Get at me.
You done?
Yeah.
I'm tired of this, man. I get disrespected on this pod every
I get
week.
disrespected on this pod every
Oh,
week.
man. And it continues. Wow.
Man, bro.
Man,
No.
tough.
But shoot, Austin, man, how you feeling? How's your day going, bro?
Man, it's going great, man. It's just a blessing to be here with you guys, man, because I remember I went from watching to being here. So
Hey.
this is the first podcast I've been on. So
Hey.
really, you know, it's just a blessing to have this experience. And yeah, I mean, pleasure is mine. So
Hey, man.
Hey, appreciate that, bro. For real.
I appreciate that,
yeah.
man. Well, this is going to be a good episode.
yeah, for sure.
Well, y'all already know how we going to start it. Every episode got to ask the question, what has been your favorite conversation of the week?
Of the week.
All right. You go first, Bryson, since you can do that. You know what I'm
This
saying?
man. So I had the privilege of talking to Pastor Tyson from Vibrant Church. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, this semester got my head going crazy. But
Tell me about it.
we had the privilege of sitting down and talking to him about marriage, because he got married at the age of 20. Like, he proposed to his wife on Christmas, planned the wedding in 2 weeks, and they was locked in. And the funny thing about it is, bro said he had basketball practice literally that Monday because he hooped for state. So like, he got married and they had to go to basketball practice.
That is crazy.
Bro, but he was just spitting game to me, man, and like, that sounded weird. He was putting me on game. He was spitting.
No, I wasn't the only one. Like,
No, did he?
Bruh. This kid. All right.
let him finish telling
right.
us about the game.
But he was putting me on game, bro. Just like talking about how like the Lord has been faithful within their union and stuff. And really the biggest takeaways that I had from the conversation I had with him was like, when two people are united as one on a common goal, like in a relationship, like you see the hand of the Lord on it. He talked about how, you know, the verse where 2 or 3 are gathered, I'm in the midst, right? So he talked about take that mindset of a relationship. Because like him and his wife, he told her when she was his girlfriend at the time, he was like, look, I want to marry you. And like, there's a certain way we got to like move about this stuff and all of that. And like, once they both united on it and started praying about it, everything started falling into place. And, you know, they still had opposition, you know, from like family and things of that nature. But like, Lord was opening doors and providing for him. And like, man, blessed marriage. I think they've been together for like 12 years or something like that. And then they got
incredible.
3 beautiful kids. You know what I'm saying? So like, the 3 biggest takeaways I had from the talk I had with him was remain one, like with your wife, remain one, remain humble before the Lord, and then just remain obedient to him, and you'll see how it all pan out. Yeah.
That's a bar.
He was spitting.
Facts.
No, that's what's up, man. Austin, what about you, man?
Man, I can say that actually it was earlier today. I was just talking to my cousin, and he just gave me some insight into some of the things, his personal struggles and endeavors that he's gone through, and how you know, it just really puts into perspective how everyone has a testimony, and really, like, you can look at a person and you have no idea what they're going through. So it's important to be very understanding, patient with people, right? Because I mean, really, everyone has their cross to bear, right? So we all have to be wary of that and just show everyone, you know, Christ's love that, you know, Christ showed to us. So I would just say, man, it was a lesson, because him being my cousin, you know, I still learn things about him, you know, to this day, and me and him going through a lot of struggles and things, and I didn't know how similar, you know, we were. So I would just say, it was heartwarming, because, you know, everyone seems to feel isolated, you know, when they go through things. And so when you see that there are other people that are going through some of the same things that, you know, that we all go through, then it makes us feel, you know, that unity. We're all one. We all, you know, trying to get to the same place. So,
Yes, sir.
man, it was cool.
No, that's wisdom right there. I think we talked about this last episode, actually, about how everyone has a story. And I think we have to remember that, because we can quickly become very, very judgmental to other people because we are just seeing them in that moment. And we forget the story of what led them up to that moment, what trauma they've dealt with, what old thought patterns they've had to break out of, you know, things that have happened to them or things that they've done that have led them to that point. And so we have to remember that there's grace and there's a level of humility we need to have when dealing with other people, because we can become very heartless and completely uncompassionate because we are saying, okay, in this moment, you're acting this way, and we're forgetting everything that led up to that. And I know that's something that's humbling for me because I could be very quick to judge and to say, like, why are they behaving that way? Why are they acting like that? Or when somebody comes to me a certain way, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. Instead of being compassionate and humble enough to say, hey, yeah, you may not have treated me in a way that I believe I deserve to be treated, but what led you to that point, right? Because I could be prideful and be like, I don't deserve to be treated that way. No. Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah. But am I going to be humble and come and say, hey, what are you going through that's kind of leading to that? Or am I going to be prideful and focused on myself and how it makes me feel, you know? And I think that's powerful right there. As far as for me, I've been locked in this week because I had systems programming, final.
I know what that's like.
Light work.
Right, Bryson, I'm sure.
Light work.
Sure that, you know what, let me not even.
Hey, bro.
It's kind of fun.
Hey,
it's kind of fun.
Go ahead, DJ.
No,
go ahead.
I know you're working super hard as a business
major. Yeah, for sure.
The shade is unreal, man. That's absolutely
Go ahead.
Hey, you outnumbered today.
You outnumbered today. You so funny.
I am.
You so funny.
But anyways,
without a business, you ain't got no job. That's it. I'm done.
Exactly, man.
Close the case.
Exactly, absolutely. I mean, Walmart needs managers, man. I mean, if they didn't have managers, we don't have Walmart.
Wait, whoa.
Hey, look, it has nothing to do with what you're doing. Like, it's just
okay.
like, it's an example, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just an example, right?
Yeah.
And it's being pragmatic. And just, putting it into perspective for the audience.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man.
Nothing to do with
For sure, man.
But
these uncircumcised Philistines.
I actually saw an Instagram reel about that. It was like, I'm gonna start roasting people with biblical. Oh man, that's so funny. But anyway, so I've locked in. I had a Semi-Forbes lab, and that Semi-Forbes lab, man, that junk was a huge stressor. It was like the bane of my existence for this week, and so had to really lock in on that. You know about Semi-Forbes? You remember this? Yeah. Anyway, so so haven't been talking to people that much, but I did have a conversation with this guy in the Perry. He runs a podcast too. His name's Bryson. But anyways,
what?
Wow.
It was good to sit down with my brother Bryson, who I hadn't really talked to in a while, and we just kind of catching up, but also casting the vision just for what the next few years of our life looks like, and just kind of talking about the lessons. And he had recently went on this, I don't know why I'm blanking on the word, conference. There we go. He went on this conference and just telling me about the lessons that he's learning. And just it's a scary part of life, but it's an exciting part of life. Change. Yeah. You know. And so, not even necessarily for just us two, but our very close friend Verge, he got engaged recently, and he's about to leave us. Man, it's
heartbreaking.
That's a hard thing.
It's heartbreaking
to deal with.
It's a big loss.
Yeah, I mean, it is
someone else's gain though.
Yeah.
But it's our loss.
And I mean, it's just like that. You know, he's gonna move away because he's gonna graduate from grad school and go and do things with his life. And we were even talking about like how my father, he hasn't seen one of his college best friends in 10 years.
Crazy.
And so it's like that's just life.
It is.
And there's a grieving process in change. But it's also an exciting process because that's when God moves you into your next blessing and moves you into your next lesson as well.
Absolutely.
And so just getting to talk with Bryson, is wonderful. And I would say definitely that was been my favorite conversation of the week. But enough about us, man. Austin, we gotta get into you, man. We were super excited to have you. I met Austin a year ago. I feel like it was during the entrepreneurship.
That's
Dang,
when
that's
we,
when I remember.
Yeah, we got closer than.
Yeah.
I remember my first. That was about my first semester here. It was in 22, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was in the fall of 22 is when I first was like acquainted with you.
Really?
Yeah, through your podcast, and that's when I was like, man, I remember approaching you actually. It was in the student union, and I said, man, I love what you're doing, and I just wanted to give you some encouragement. So I'm not sure if you remember that, but I stopped you.
That.
Man, I stopped you, and you looked like you were in a hurry or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was impressed because not many people, your age that dare to do
I
that,
appreciate
man.
that.
So
No,
incredible.
yes.
Yes, sir.
And so yeah, we were cool from that spring semester into the fall, and then we really got to catch up recently because we both went on a conference together.
Oh yeah, that
We
was
were in
great.
Atlanta, which was crazy.
That's a story for another day. That's a story for
So a
another
whole
day.
bunch.
That's an understatement.
Like,
Oh my goodness.
A whole bunch, man.
Man,
But
crazy.
it was just a blessing getting
Yeah.
to spend time with you and just the wisdom that you
Appreciate it, man.
carry.
Thank you.
And so
Bless you, man.
we were trying to figure out who our next podcast was going to be, and immediately you were someone who popped up in my mind just because
Man, thank you.
of one, you're in the interesting season of your life as you're getting yourself ready to graduate and walk
Oh, yeah.
across that stage, but
Crazy.
also just the wisdom that you have in through that. A lot of people, we've actually talked about it, a lot of people get older and don't get wiser, but you have been someone who has gotten older and wiser.
Yes.
And so, hey man, I want to give you the floor, man. Just first kind of walk us through how'd you get to state? How'd you get to sitting in this chair right here?
Man, so I'll just take it from the top. I'm originally from Richland, and I was born in Flowood, but yeah, I grew up in Richland, and so at a young age, I think it was just like 2012, 2013, I moved from Richland out into the Ken Gluckstadt area, and I switched schools from Highland to Germantown. Well, it was Mansdale actually at the time, but yeah, really, it's just uprooting everything and having to start over, and so that's just one example of me having to start over. It's a lesson in this, but yeah, I had to meet new friends, start over. I had to just branch out. And it was, it made me uncomfortable, just being around people, a lot of different people, people that I didn't grow up with, right? So I made a lot of new friends, and, God, he takes things away, but he adds to you as well. So everything he takes away, he's going to put something back in place to replace it. And many times it's better than what you had before.
Yes, sir.
So man, that's one of the best things that could have happened. At the time, it didn't feel that way. Yeah. But I'm blessed to just have made that move. I met a lot of great people out there. And so then, fast forward, I'd say to high school, man, start running track, play football. And that's kind of like, I've had a passion for football since I was little. Me and
What
my dad.
position you play?
Man, so
Water boy?
Man, nah. We got
My bad, bro.
I got some highlights, not lowlights to
Nah, bro, I could have been a
Shit,
D1
disperse.
water boy, bro. Chill out.
Hey, they get scholarships though.
Bro, I was
They get
Bruh.
scholarships too.
Bro, I was recruited by Alabama, LSU, all of them for D1 water boy and fifth string quarterback. So don't do me like that.
Hey,
bro.
My bad.
Man,
My bad.
That's an honor though. Fifth string is that I didn't know they existed.
I didn't either.
They go. I didn't know they went past 3, but
Hey, you worry about the wrong thing.
but yeah, at that point you didn't touch the practice field.
What position did you play, Austin?
Okay, look.
What position did you play?
I was running back, but I also played a little wide receiver and corner, but I was primarily running back. And man, I loved it. First 2 years I was JV, and right as I was moving to get those varsity snaps, I feel like God just had a different path for me because I got injured, and my parents, specifically my dad, was already like saying he didn't want me to play. It's like, man, it's dangerous and all that type of stuff. But I had a love for the game and the sport, and I was learning so much, and I had bonded with my teammates, and man, I tore my ACL, my MCL in practice,
Damn.
and it was just a life-changing, life-defining moment for me, and just another example of having to start over because I had to learn to walk again, literally. I mean, it's like it didn't hit me until after I got home from the surgery room, and then the anesthesia started kind of wearing off, and I started coming back to my senses, waking up. And man, I just broke down, started crying, and you know, I don't cry much, but that's one of the few times I cried like a baby, like an ugly cry, man. It was tough because I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything, like, and so you know, things we take for granted, like we can just get up right now, walk, go get some water, go get some food, man. There are some people that can't do that.
Yeah.
So we have to take pride in just the little things. Because everything's a blessing that God gives us, man. Like mobility with our limbs, being able to get out of bed in the morning without someone else helping you, right?
It's real.
Taking showers without someone else helping you, man. It's like it taught me so many lessons. Being in that state to where I couldn't operate on my own. So man, had the surgery. And then I went down a different route. I mean, I made good grades already, but I had to depend more on my academics and playing college sports. That wasn't in the picture from that point forward. So,
How did you feel at first? Was it kind of like you already were like, okay, God is moving me to a different area, or did it take some time for you to get there?
Man, no, it took time. Like I had to grieve a loss. That was a love for the game, you know? And I've been playing that game since 7th grade. So that was a large chunk of my life. And I didn't feel like it went to waste because I made so many great memories and critiqued my skills, had me in the best shape of my life, which, you know, I'll get into the fitness stuff later on. But man, it was just, it was an incredible experience. And it was the end of a chapter. And I knew God was moving me to the next one. So it was, I would say I definitely grieved. It took some time.
Right.
You know? But, you know, I feel like it made me stronger. And it taught me that even if we think we know what's best for ourselves, God knows better, right? So, I mean, it's just really just taking it day by day, slowly, God showing me things, like showing me a new path, a different path. And I'm thankful for it, especially now looking back, because everything happens for a reason, you know. Everything we do, no matter how big or small, has consequences. And so really it's just important that we trust in God's plan, not lean to our own understanding. When we lean to our own understanding, that's when bad things happen, you know. When we venture on a different path, right? So it's important to stay on the straight and narrow. But yeah, man, that's pretty much high school in a nutshell. Just some lessons that I feel like high school taught me. And then fast forward to college, I started at Holmes. So I went to Holmes Community College and
HCC.
Yeah, man, it was a great experience, man. Just being down at Goodman, met some great people. Just learned to. I feel like in high school I didn't really. I wasn't really involved in many extracurriculars as many as I would have liked. So, being at college, I was able to kind of expand more, and I learned really the value of teamwork, and, you know, and the value of working with other people, and how we can't do everything ourselves, right? And so that's one of the biggest lessons I learned while at Holmes. But yeah, I mean, truthfully, when I first transferred, I didn't know exactly what university I would go to. I knew I could have gone to a few other ones for free, including, like, you know, Jackson State was like right around the corner from where I grew up at. So of course, you know, my mom taught there as well, so I wanted some new scenery. And man, I got an offer from. It came down to Ole Miss and State.
We already know what the best choice is.
I mean, obviously it wasn't.
You went to Ole Miss?
I mean, who, me?
Yeah.
No. It was like that was just the choices.
It wasn't really a choice.
No. Well, yeah, it was an option, but the choice was clear, right?
So you didn't choose Ole Miss?
No, nah.
Okay.
No hotty totty for me.
No.
Hill State.
Young Vagabond
Hill
does not
State.
rock.
Hill State, man. But man, for an engineering program at we had like a technical school. It was Madison Career and Technical Center, right in front of Germantown. Actually, like the building is right in front. I did engineering robotics, went into there, and we did some traveling to Mississippi State.
Okay.
So that's kind of like where I first saw, like, man, I really like it here. You know, it was. I mean, the school is like a city. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's so many resources here.
Yeah.
Nah, for real.
Man, they offered me some scholarships, and I was also in Phi Theta Kappa, which is basically just a prestigious honor society for at the community college level. And so I came here, and man, it was just like acclimating from, being kind of in the bubble to being now in this different world. I mean, it was intimidating, right?
Yeah.
Because once again, starting over, right? Like when I was at home, so I stayed with my brother, so I had someone there with me, right?
Yeah.
But I come here. I mean, I did have, like, I know people that went to my high school that were here and stuff like that. But man, once again, it's just starting over. It's important, that we don't keep the same circle too. We have to branch out. And also as followers of Christ, we have a mission here. We're not just here just to hang out and have fun, man. We are here to spread the gospel, and we have to use ourselves as vessels. So I had to branch out to people, some people that are similar to me, and other people that are different from me, right? And that's important. Like you said, mentioned earlier, the not judging. We can't judge, man. We have to reach out with a hand of love and patience for all types of people, because all types of people come from different worlds as us. Like even the three of us up here, we all have a backstory, right? I mean, you have Bryce, maybe has the villain, the villain arc, right?
Hey, I did for a minute, bro. Man.
But no, we all have that though, in one way or another.
Bro,
right?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it short and simple.
Man.
I got down so bad, I was lifting weights in the gym while crying at the same time.
Oh man.
If you want to know the story, we got to get off the mic.
We'll talk about that later. Now I'm curious, right? I'm curious.
It's a good story.
Bro, DJ be laughing at my pain, bro.
Man, that's so messed up, man. Like,
It's a good story.
I promise I'm not gonna laugh after I figure out what it is, right?
Okay.
I don't know yet, so now it's kind of, looking from the outside in, looks kind of funny, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, we all have different testimonies, and so I mean, that's what helps shape us and mold us into the people that we are. And so, man, I'd say coming here, it's so many groups of people, so much diversity. It was just crazy, and it took a while for me to get acclimated to this environment. Teacher, everything's different from like the community college level, man. It's like the teachers here. I mean, at first felt like a number, and then as you get higher up into your major, then you feel like a person. You build bonds with the instructors, and it was great. Yeah, it was great. But man, I would say just a scripture I want to look at dealing with like new beginnings is Isaiah 43:18, verse 18 through 19.
Go ahead.
Pulled it up.
Go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead, Bishop.
And it said, but forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Right? And so,
preach,
man. It's like the dry wasteland is what we think is best for ourselves. Right?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Hold on. Say that again. Say it again.
Man, the dry wasteland is what we think is best for ourselves. That's that leaning to our own understanding.
Yeah.
Right? But God has something better for us. Right? Yeah. And so I feel like that's like the theme of what my life, my lessons, the things that God showed me. Yeah. I endured pain going through it. But no pain, no gain. Yeah. And nothing good really comes easy. Yeah. And that takes me to like my fitness journey, right? I mean, even if we talk about like fitness, I mean, if you want that, you want that shredded look, or however you want, muscular, or if you just want to be fit, you want that endurance, whatever that may be. I mean, you have to work, you have to train, right? It's not just something you can just wake up doing. Right? And so it kind of leads me to what I like to say, like it's like the muscle building paradox, you could say, of how we have to tear things down to make them stronger, to build them back up.
Right.
Like for your muscles, man. Every time you're working out, lifting weight, you're tearing muscle. Right?
Yeah.
But when it comes back, when it regenerates, it's bigger, it's stronger, more toned, more defined, right? It looks better. You feel stronger. You look better, right? So it's just that's everything in life. Like strength, to me, my definition of it, strength is being able to withstand. Like an example of that is like, let's say there's a storm. You have strong winds blowing, right? And so strength is being able to stand in that wind, right, without blowing away. But man, power is being able to push through in spite of that wind, right?
Yeah.
Being able to push through that the adversity. So I mean that applies to me, like weightlifting applies to many things in life, and that's kind of where I found my therapy now. It's like weightlifting, getting back in the gym. Been more consistent lately, but man, it's been an incredible, experience since I've been here. I feel like I've forged so many lifelong bonds, relationships with amazing people, you guys included. And it's just,
oh my goodness,
don't cry, man. So
okay,
don't cry.
I'm gonna keep it together.
But yeah, I mean, I just say that's my story, man. That's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
And man, I'm so happy to be here. So I guess I wanted to kind of engage with you guys, and just, I guess we'll start here for change. But just like what's the time that you had to start over, man? You didn't really know, right? You didn't really know what was gonna happen, right?
Hey, man. Welcome to the Austin Wheeler podcast. Lifting on up.
You know what I'm saying? He had
that's
to
what's
wheel
up.
around to the question.
Of course, man. It's
No,
important.
that's, college for me, for sure. Y'all know I'm an out-of-state student. And so I came to college, I didn't know a single soul. I knew one person, shout out Naomi, but that was it.
Yeah.
I knew Naomi, that was all. And I really, 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 truly did have to start over, because in college, high school, I was finally starting to get to a point where I really felt a sense of community. For a long time. Like I would say, really, my transformation with Christ, like I grew up in the church, but my giving my life to Christ moment came in the summer going into my sophomore year of high school. That's really when it kind of clicked for me, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. And from that, I didn't like lose friends, but my ability to connect with some of those people that I had in high school wasn't as strong at that time. Just because, man, those priorities had changed, right? And so a lot of times in high school, I felt lonely. And so then moving into college, I was really, really hoping to have that sense of community. And like I said, I was finally starting to get it in high school, because there was friends of mine who I'm so proud of were starting to change and start to really submit their lives to the Lord. I really started to get close with people in my church. And then that all just stopped, right? And that was hard. And it was definitely a new beginning. Like everything switched. And I've kind of talked about this before, but when I first got to college, there was a very stark decision I had to make between, am I going to continue to let the Lord lead my life, or am I going to go out and do my own thing? And I remember this situation very specifically. We were in a convenience store, and it was me and two other people. And they were basically like, "Oh, you need some condoms." They were asking, like, "Do you want to buy these condoms?" And I remember right there, that's a very, very specific moment where I had to make a decision. Because, I get to college, girls calling me cute for the first time.
Whoa.
I'm growing my hair out. I'm
Bro,
starting
what I
to
tell you?
dress better.
What I tell you before it started? What did I tell you before we started, bro?
Man, bro.
My name's DJ. Yeah.
But I
I go to school too.
That's for real. I'm starting to grow into my looks a little bit more. Girls are calling me cute. I'm dressing better. All these things are starting to happen.
Facts.
And so I'm getting attention, and it became a point. It was like, if I want to go down this path, the opportunity presents itself, and I could really go live my life how I want. I've done this Christian thing for long enough. Let me try this other path. Let me try that dry. What was the word you used? I'm forgetting now. The verse in Isaiah.
The dry land, the
Dry
wasteland.
land. Yeah, the dry. Let me go try this dry land and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I, by the grace of God, I said no. I don't need the. And I said I'm going to continue to trust in that living water, that spring. And it's been the best decision I've made because it wasn't just like, okay, one step of obedience is done. It was continuous steps of obedience. And not only that, it was putting myself out there. Because, I could have been Bible open all I want and sitting in my room. I'm just going to be a guy alone in my room reading my Bible. And it took me taking the steps out there. It took me going up onto the Union every day. And we have a bulletin board of different events and going to those events, knowing absolutely nobody and just meeting people. And I tell this story a lot. It's because it's really funny. The first the first time I ever put myself out there, I was getting my ID because I'd already lost it because it's me. And I was in this, office getting my ID replaced. And I was just with this random girl at the time, and we just started talking. And like I said, I didn't have any friends, so I was just really wanting to meet people. And so we had been talking, and we were about to part ways, and I was just like, hey, can I get your Snapchat so we can stay in touch? Really not like on anything like that.
Messed up.
And she was like, no, I don't like you like that. And she walked away.
Oh, no.
And that's like, it's like so much. I wrote about it in my journal. Like, that's how much.
But look.
But I mean, hey, I could have, from that moment, said, okay, I'm not putting myself out there again. Because I think a lot of times we misconstrue that steps of obedience automatically equal to instant blessing or instant reward, right? And that's not how God works. It's not a contractual obligation. It's like, okay, Lord, if I just give you my obedience, you'll give me what I want. No, sometimes you put yourself out there, you take that step of faith, and it doesn't work out. But let me tell you what, that moment that was really uncomfortable, it taught me compassion for the young man and young woman who is struggling to put themselves out there or has social anxiety. It taught me compassion for that person because I know what it feels like to be in that situation. And it also taught me how to learn to be comfortable with rejection because not everybody's going to accept you, and that's okay, right? We're made different. We're all different types of people. And so those are valuable lessons in that rejection that I wouldn't have received or gotten or understood had I not faced that rejection.
Could I?
Go ahead.
I mean, shout out to the girl that rejected DJ, man. I mean, major L, right? I mean, major L, but I mean, look at how it made you stronger, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the rock bottom just teaches us lessons that the mountaintops can't. Right? So, I mean, it's just... I mean, look at what it did, right?
Yeah.
It makes you stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, you can continue. I love that.
That's
man.
a bar
I love
there.
that, man.
Man.
Rock bottom teaches you lessons that the mountaintop can't.
Man,
That's a bar, man.
It's
And
facts.
that's so
It's
true.
facts.
Because,
It's facts,
man,
man.
a lot of times new beginnings feel like rock bottom.
They do.
Because you're starting with nothing.
Yep.
But it is in that you learn greater dependence on the Lord. It's in that you learn how to be comfortable with yourself. Right?
Yeah.
It's in that you do self-reflection and growth in areas and in parts of your life that are lacking.
Yeah.
Rock bottom is so necessary. Rock bottom is how we talked about yesterday. We had this little joint Bible study, and we talked about firm foundation. And one of the things that my little group we were talking about was about how storms show you the weak points in your foundation, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're always on the mountaintop, you don't necessarily know how good your faith is. You want to really know how good your faith is? Go through a storm, man.
Job, man. That's what happened.
Job, exactly,
man.
Go through a storm. You want to know really how disciplined you are? Go through a difficult season in your life, right? Go through a season of your life where nobody's congratulating you for being disciplined. That's when you learn true discipline. That's when you learn, okay, what parts of my life is the foundation lacking? It's not in the mountaintop moment. It's in that valley. And so, man, I learned that, right? Because even in that moment where I had to make that decision, hey, am I going to get these condoms or not?
No.
That was a faith-defining moment, right?
Yeah.
Because that was me choosing faith over my own desires. Because I could have went and I could have lived my life the way I wanted to. I could have been trying to, I say this all the time, I'm blessed at communicating. So I can communicate my way into a bed that's not mine. I mean, that's real. And yes, I could have done that. And yes, that would have been so much fun. But in that, it would have been a trail of destruction of broken lives that I would have left and a broken soul in my own heart.
Message.
And would that have been worth it? It would have not have. And so, man, that's my story of new beginnings. That's the thing that I've learned through that. But
man, I love that, man, because not everything that feels good is good for you, right? So it's like that's what you have to learn. Like you want this temporary pleasure, or you want the long-term delayed gratification, man. And what God has for you is so much better than that temporary, the few minutes that so many people are addicted to. And it's dangerous. So that's a life-defining moment, man. That's great. That's a great response too, man. That's a great.
Hey, to God be the glory.
Man. Absolutely, man.
And I even want to say, not everything that feels bad is bad for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or
'Cause
tastes bad too. Cause like, look, when we doing meal prep, like. We might not want the Brussels sprouts or the broccoli or the kale, right? We might not want that, but
So true.
it's so good for you, man. It's a superfood. Or the liver. I try to eat some,
I ain't
cabbage.
doing
That's
that.
hey, I know. Hey, that's a stretch right there, right? That's a stretch right there. But man, like it's so good.
You on with that one, buddy.
Look, the way my mama makes it, man, it's good, man. I promise.
Your
Look,
mom must really.
y'all.
Good.
I'm bringing y'all to the crib, man. We're gonna eat some liver and onions.
You're going to have to lie to me. You're going to have to tell me.
Nah,
it's
for
chicken.
real.
And then
Man, look.
If I know that's liver, I'm not eating it.
Man, look.
Word.
No, but I mean, that's real. Even going back to
Facts.
working out. When you working out, it don't feel good. When we doing, me and Trav, we all be in the gym together. Me, Trav, and Ro. And me and Ro were in the gym, and we were doing pull-ups. They don't feel good. They don't feel good at all. But what comes from that feels amazing, right?
And I never I don't
No,
mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you off. Like it's right with what you're saying. I never say, it hurts so bad in the gym. It hurts so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's making you better.
Yeah.
So man, I love that. You can go ahead though.
No, I mean, I was going to even add to that. You just brought a thought. I never regret when I go to the gym.
Facts.
I never leave the gym and go like, whoa, man, I really
Shouldn't have went today.
shouldn't have went today, man. That's the worst decision I make. When I make sinful decisions, bad decisions, when I look at porn or when I, gossip or let my pride get in the way, I feel horrible after that.
Really do.
I regret that very seriously.
Exactly.
I don't leave moments of going like, wow, that was great.
That conviction.
Let's do that again.
But if
Right?
you do, that's dangerous. That means you're on the devil's territory at that point. So that's a good sign we have a conviction, man.
And
Yes,
anything,
sir.
even no matter what you say mentally, your soul is always gonna be the telltale, right? Because even if you're lying to yourself and saying, "Oh yeah, that was great, I want to do it again," your soul is in pain,
Yeah,
right?
facts.
And man, I just think we have to learn. I mean, we've talked about that. In fact, even our second episode, the second season with Verge, that was what it was about. Was delayed gratification, but it's that understanding that yes, when you have like a heart submitted to the Lord or you have a good heart, I don't believe that you should never listen to your heart, but don't let those temporary feelings lead to permanent action. And that goes for everything. That goes for those bad feelings leading you to want to make bad decisions, or even those good feelings making you feel like you on top of the world, and then you're making reckless decisions. Don't let temporary feelings lead to permanent decisions.
Facts. I like something that just like kept getting stuck in my mind when both of y'all were talking was Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. So it's like the small steps of obedience, the small steps of I'm putting myself out there, the small steps of I'm denying my flesh. They all led up to those big steps of obedience. They all led to the big blessings on down the line. But it all started with the small beginnings. Do not despise the small beginnings.
That's it.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Bryson. I answered the question. I think
I answered the question. I think you should.
Walk us through a moment of when you had small beginnings or new beginnings in life, and kind of how God developed that into something else.
Yeah. So for me, it was my senior year. I had just got out of a 2-year relationship. So senior year, trying to apply to colleges, figure out where the Lord want me to go. Long story short, end up. Hey, my bad, y'all. But long story short, end up applying. Got into every college I applied to, and man, like, feel like the Lord led me to Mississippi State. So when I get to college, in the back of my brain, I was like, man, I got robbed of some things in high school. Like, I feel like I limited my reach. I limited my purpose because I was, doing stuff that I was supposed to be doing at the time, and my focus was elsewhere. So I was like, you know what? My freshman year, when I get to college, I can just like do it on a bigger scale, reach people on a bigger scale, live for Jesus on a bigger scale. And bro, what the world? My bad, y'all. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin. Man, it's because I was talking about the dry land that my throat tried to get dry. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we got some water. We got no water. Oh, man, bro.
But so I get to my freshman year at college, and loving the Lord, but I feel like my focus still was elsewhere at times. Shout out women, but
Shout out, man. Of course, tell me about it, man. That's a man's weakness right there, man.
you ain't said nothing but a word. But man, like the biggest and I would say most pivotal, like starting over point for me was spring semester of my freshman year, bro. I had got out of a relationship, got denied by 5 organizations, and one of them was like a faith organization. So I was kind of like questioning my faith, like, God, am I doing enough? Am I doing good enough? And then like, losing my granddad at the time. And man, it was a lot going on the spring semester of my freshman year. And I went home, and like you said, I had a voice change again. But I went home, like you said, like the villain arc. Oh my goodness, bro.
It's all good, man.
I went home, had a change, bro. I cut all my hair off. I got waves for a minute. Started locking in with the Lord like crazy, lifting weights, jumping rope, hooping all the time. And from that starting over, birthed like one of the biggest blessings of my life, which is the Holy Steppers. Which is where like we share a word, we pray, and we hoop. Quick plug. But
Saturdays at what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
You know what I'm saying?
Anderson. Y'all should show up.
You know what I'm saying? But
Ladies be there.
all right, you're booted from the episode.
Yeah, we don't need to let this guy talk anymore at all. He's high off life. Okay, high off life, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but bro, like God used all of that pain and just just like propel me and turn it into purpose. So I don't regret the things that I went through. I just just thank God for it. Sometimes I ain't gonna hold you. I'm human. Sometimes I get irritated when I think, but like, hey, Bryson, why you been that? But like at the end of the day, I can sit here and fret, complain, or be like, dang, why did this happen to me, or why did I allow myself to go through this? Or I can be like, you know what? All things work out for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Because literally all things worked out.
Do you think you would be like doing the Holy Steppers or where you're at now without those experiences?
No.
Yeah.
I would not. Because I remember when I didn't make the high school basketball team, I was so hurt. I was so defeated. But like looking back on it, the Lord allowed that to happen for a reason, because like the people I would have been hanging around were no like disrespect at all, but they weren't the most like faith focused guys. And if I would have had that around me, whether I like it or not, I would have been influenced by those guys.
Yeah.
And especially in high school, that's such a pivotal time of like trying to figure out who you are. And in college, you grown, still trying to figure out who you are. And man, I think the Lord worked out through my rejection, through my failures, and turned it into success, turned it into purpose. Because like the thing that brought me pain, hooping, like I've cried so much over basketball in my life. The thing that once brought me pain is now a part of my purpose. So like I said, I can sit here and complain, be like, dang, I'm supposed to be in the league right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be hooping somewhere. I remember putting in 3-4 hours worth of work, you know what I'm saying, and never reaping the harvest. But the thing about it is I did reap a harvest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord did work it out for me. The Lord is still on my side. Whether or not I'm putting the ball in the hoop or not, God is still good, because at the end of the day, pain can be turned into purpose. And I'm a living testimony of that.
I actually have a question, because it's very easy in retrospect to go, okay, yeah, look at how these situations have now worked into my purpose, or even, once you see the blessing of the new beginning, go like, okay, yeah, that's why I had a new beginning. My question would be to y'all is, how do y'all stay rooted when you're in that new beginning, right? Because it's very easy to get discouraged, to get salty, to just all around be like, kind of woe is me, right? Because you're in a new season. And I'm just kind of curious, what, if any, what helped you stay rooted in that time, instead of kind of either abandoning your faith or abandoning the work that you were putting in? What kind of kept you guys rooted in that season?
You want it, Austin?
Man, yeah, I mean, I can take that. I mean, it's really just, it's understanding the situation and staying focused on the end goal and the mission, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things will go wrong. I mean, that's just a part of life. And really, I mean, failure is just as much a part of life as success. Sometimes I think failure is even more important, because we all just talked about struggles, failures that we've had. And we can't really say, like, we didn't say, like, you're not saying like, oh, I went to the NBA and now I'm here. Like, I mean, you're not saying you got the condoms, or you obeyed the flesh and now you're here and you're glad.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying these things necessarily worked out in accordance to like whatever it may be, the flesh, or it may have been a possible dream, right? But ultimately, it's basically just, to me, it's just saying that, we learn from the failures. So when we're going through storms, then we're learning more from that. We're becoming stronger from that. So, yeah, I'd say just like whenever things are hard, whenever I know things are just piling up, it feels like the walls are closing in. I mean, I'll just stay steadfast, focused on Christ. And like, this is God putting me through a test. He wouldn't put me through anything that's too much for me to bear. So, I mean, truthfully, when you just stay focused on knowing this is temporary, you know what I mean? Pain is temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, hardship, struggles, temporary. God is everlasting. So, I mean, that's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And when it does, you're going to come out on top. As long as you stay faithful, then you're going to come out on top, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's important that you just stay focused on the mission, on the end goal, where you're trying to go. Things are going to set you back.
Yeah.
But never lose that drive and determination.
Yeah.
Because when we get discouraged or whatever, whenever we fail, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, regret, or anything. God encourages us to keep going no matter what. So, I mean, I'd say don't quit, man. Don't quit. And that's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Like, better days are ahead.
I think I think I talked about this earlier, but I had a recent moment where I had called my dad and just was confiding into him just the season of life I'm in. And one thing that he told me is the goal is to stop asking God why and to start asking, what are you teaching me? Right? In the good and in the bad, God, what are you teaching me? What can I learn from this? Right? Yeah. Whatever season you're in, ask, what can I learn from this? Not why is it happening to me? And then yesterday I was talking to my brother Jamar, and he was telling me what kind of he's been learning with the Lord is that he stopped asking why and has started asking why not me? Why not I am? God knew that I was the perfect person to go through this particular trial. So why not me? And what can I learn from it?
Absolutely.
And I think when we have that perspective switch, to stop asking why and start asking why not me, and what are you teaching me through this, man, I think we are able to walk through every season with way more hope. Because, like you said, it's temporary. The season you're going through, at some point, it's going to stop, right? This sounds bleak. You're either going to die or you're going to get through it. But either way, especially as I believe as a believer, you win no matter what, right? Because you either get a new lesson or you get to meet the Lord, right? And I think that when we have that perspective, that there is nothing in this world that can completely break me beyond it being redeemed by God, that keeps me so encouraged, right? Like, this situation can suck, and it does suck, right? But it can still be redeemed because I serve a Redeemer, right?
Man, that's facts.
Yeah.
Man, I like what you said there. It did, like you said, it sounded a bit grim, but it's true. And even I wouldn't recommend it for anyone else, but even like for one of my methods when I work out, like one thing, I hate asking for help, but I will if I have to. Yeah. But like it's mainly with squats, which you were
Do
there.
you max out by yourself, bro?
Okay, no, not max out, not max out. But look, what I do, you have the little safety rail. I take it away, and so if I'm doing a weight I'm unsure about on squats, I say to myself, you have two options. Because God gives us a resiliency, and oftentimes you can get through situations at times, man, and not even know how strong, how powerful you are. It's that fight or flight. To me, that fight or flight type of instinct. We have instinct.
Not with the squat bar on the back, bro.
Absolutely shouldn't do that. I don't condone that at all. But I said,
Vagabond does not.
I told myself, I said, look, at least you have two options, right? I was like, you either get the weight up when you squat, or you don't make it. And when I realized you might not make it, like, I get the weight up. Hey, that's only when I was at the gym by myself and there was nobody else there, and I was like going for some crazy weight. And I was like, man, you got two options, and I want to live, so I'm gonna get the weight up, and I got the weight up. So man, it's just when you said that, like, you're gonna get through it or not, it made me think about that time when I did that. I definitely wouldn't do it again, don't get me wrong.
Thank God.
I've gotten older and much more wiser, but man, that was just kind of funny to me when you said that. You know, it's something I've gone through myself. So
you gonna make it, or so I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, I want to live.
Hey. But I think I even that's all right. I just want to say this last thing. And let you
good.
But I think now we have to be careful with this because there's a balance. You don't want to become so self-sufficient that you stop leaning on everyone.
Yeah,
because community is important. People are important. Ask for help. That's important.
Very important.
But I think one thing that I always keep in mind, especially when I'm thinking about temptation and being free, is that because I have freedom in Christ, I don't have to do anything, right? Right? I mean, of course, I'm called to be obedient, but especially in moments when I'm feeling peer pressured or things like that, I don't have to do that, right? I don't have to be peer pressured. Or even when I was first getting to school and navigating, facing that rejection from different people, at the end of the day, I only remember this girl rejecting me because I wrote about it in my book. That's why I remember it.
Yeah.
But she probably doesn't. And I guarantee you, all the people who are around us, they definitely don't, right?
Nah.
And so when we remember that in life, it's like, man, you're either going to make it or you aren't, right? And we already know the promises of the Lord, right? So we know we're going to make it. So just persevere, right? And that doesn't mean persevere by yourself. Perseverance isn't a one person thing, right? There's a community of people who help hold you up. But perseverance, when you're going through that season, it sounds like we make things more complicated, but in life, it's really that simple as you're going to make it or you're not, right?
Yeah.
But because we can trust the promises of God and we can look back on the past experiences, we know we're going to make it, right? And that doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be strain. Because I guarantee whenever he was doing whatever he was doing, there was some strain that was being put on his muscles, right?
Oh, it was
There
squats. It was squats, man. It was squats, man. It felt good.
Crazy, man.
It felt good, man.
Like there's
I'm
gonna
not
be
lie.
there's gonna be strain. There's gonna be difficulty. You're gonna have to work through it, right?
Right.
But you're gonna make it, right? Because, man, it's that simple. You're either gonna make it or you don't. And even because life is not as high stakes as life or death most of the time, even if you don't make it, you're still making it, right? Even when you face rejection, guess what? I tell people all the time who are really worried about their grades, it's like, hey, you know what's going to happen if you don't get that 4.0? You're going to go to bed, and you're going to get up, and you're still going to be alive, right?
Right.
Hopefully, God willing, right? But, like, you're going to go to bed, you're going to wake up, and you're going to still be the exact same amazing person that you were when you went to sleep.
Right.
Message.
Whether you hit that goal, whether you made it, in quotations, or not, you didn't make it onto the high school basketball team. You didn't make it to the league. And you're still making it, right?
Yep.
You're still making it. You're still following your purpose. When we adopt that mindset, man, I think, man, like, that's so powerful because we realize, we talked about this when we had Destiny on the podcast, that, like, life is not as high stakes as we make it. And so, man, it is every decision, whether it ends in success or failure, is a lesson, right? And it's only propelling you further and further into where you're supposed to be.
Nah, bro, that's so real. And I feel like, man, you know how like the enemy, he'll give you amnesia, bro. I feel like the Holy Spirit reminded me of something, like from failure with ball to the Holy Steppers was a 2-year process, bro.
Yeah.
I had forgot all about that. Like, me and my homie had the vision for doing like basketball in a small group back in 2020. It didn't come into fruition until 2022. And when I didn't make the team back in 2020, I wasn't celebrating. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking, oh, God is going to work this out for my purpose. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, what the freak just happened?
Yeah.
Like, I done spent all of this time, all of this effort, and this didn't pan out the way that I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But, like, whole time, I was growing in discipline. I started getting into fitness. Like, I'm nice with the jump rope. You feel me? But
That's great.
started.
I need to work that a little bit.
Hey, bro, I got you.
Hey, for sure.
I got you.
Cardio is
at
man.
all. I hate jumping.
Bro, I love jump rope. I be feeling like fluid. But
I always feel like I'm about to smack myself every time.
no, bro.
man.
When I first started
What a
jumping,
dork, man.
and you know, I'm a lighter complexion person. Man, them red marks was everywhere, bro. I used to hit myself so much with the rope, bro. But like, I'm nice with it now. I still hit sometimes, but still get hit sometimes. Yeah, but but Lord Jesus.
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Oh man. But like I said, 2-year process, bro. So like going through all of that failure, but still even persevering and pressing on, still working out, still trying to get better at ball, right? Still locking in with the Lord, never forsaking the commitment I made to Him. Like it all ended up panning out, and that was 2 years later, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it was 2020, when it was 2021. I didn't know that the Holy Steppers was gonna get birthed out of a place of pain. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that, but the Lord did. So you know, sometimes it's like one, acknowledging where you are, feel those emotions, so you don't carry them on into the next season. Acknowledge where you are, feel those emotions, but like continue to trust the Lord each and every step of the way. Do not despise the small beginnings. You know what I'm saying? And you know, DJ, when you were saying, I'm going to make it through, it kind of reminded me of the worship song, you know, Christ is my firm foundation. you know, I'm gonna make it through because my house is built on you.
Yeah.
You know, what foundation are you building in this season? So you know what, even though this season didn't go the way I planned, I'm gonna make sure I got a sturdy jump to fall back on if I do flop in the next one. You know,
Dude, oh my
Man,
gosh.
that's great, man. And I love that because one thing I like to say to people and to myself is people get wrapped up in praying. They'll try to impose their own will and confuse that for God's will. They'll try to get
facts.
God, be like, hey
Man.
God, please give me this. Like they'll pray to God, be like, God, I pray that I get this job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I pray that I make it to the NBA or whatever. God, like the prayer should be, God, I pray that your will is done. That's what I
Facts.
always like to do, because God's plan for us is the best. And
Yeah.
if you want the
Yep.
best for yourself, then you want God's plan for you, right? So I just love that, you know, you guys figured that out, you know, a lot quicker than a lot of other people do. I mean, it's very impressive. Like I'm proud of both of you guys.
appreciate
man.
them. I
It's
mean,
great.
you learned it too, brother.
I know,
Proud
man,
of you,
but-
man. How old are you, bro?
Man, I'm 22, man. I'm old, man.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
old.
This man.
Hey,
Yeah.
But Trev actually was talking about this earlier because he was talking about, you know, y'all went to the Bible study yesterday.
Yeah.
And Trev was talking about what was it, Matthew? What? He got to pull it on. Never mind. But it all right, Matthew 7 through 11. Appreciate you, Trev. But basically, you know, like if your earthly father can give you good gifts, how much more will your heavenly father give you good gifts?
yes.
So like if I'm a earthly man and I desire good stuff for myself, how much more does a heavenly father desire good stuff for me?
Yeah.
So I like how you said that, Austin.
No, actually, I have I'm gonna break something down for
Uh-oh.
y'all, man.
He finna
Especially-
spit.
So next time somebody says, you know, how can you trust in God? Or particularly, I've used this when it comes to, this is a question that you get asked, especially if you're saving yourself for marriage, of like, what if it's not good? Like, which is an
Don't
ignorant
nobody
question.
care about that, bruh.
Don't ask
It's
that
a
question.
bigger picture, bro. God.
But no, I mean, this is what I always think about, right? So there's a couple verses, right? So it talks about, I don't remember where in scripture, but I knit you together in your mother's womb, right?
Yeah.
Like God knew you before you knew you, right? He knit you together in your mother's womb, right? So he thought of you and had his idea of you before your parents had an idea of you, right? It says in Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you.
Yes, sir.
And then it talks about
Yes, sir.
Matthew 7:11, right? How much more will the Father give good gifts if we, being wicked in our hearts, are able to give good gifts? And so when you put these together, and this is for you, next time somebody comes up and asks you, how can you trust God? If God knit us together in our mother's womb and he gives good gifts, what that tells me is God knows us better than we know us.
Yes, sir.
How many times have we gotten what we wanted and then realized, whoa, this is not what I wanted, right? You
Facts.
leave, you're unsatisfied. You finally got this thing, this dream, whatever it is, and you're still empty, right? If God knows us better than we know ourselves, that means he knows our wants better than we know ourselves. And so what we think we want is oftentimes not actually what we really want. When we are saying stuff like, man, I need a girlfriend, I need, a relationship in my life, man, what we really need is connection, is validation. That we're not gonna find in that one person, right?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have bad days. They're gonna have days where they can't connect with you, where they can't encourage you. And what you're looking for, if you try and put them where God's supposed to be, that's unfair to them,
Facts.
and you're gonna be disappointed. And so what that tells me is that if God knows us better than we know ourselves, and he knows our wants better than we know ourselves, that when we follow God, at the end of the day, we do get what we want, right? And I love what you talked about, Austin. We superimpose our will onto God's will, then call it God's will, and then when we don't get what we want, we're disappointed and mad at God.
Yep.
God didn't ever tell you that was going to be what you were going to get. That's not what God said. You said that, right? And then when there was a disappointment there, you blamed God for something he never promised. When we when our focus becomes less on trying to get what we want and becomes more on being obedient to God, we'll find that the fruit of that, the after effect of that, the evidence of that ends up being what we want. And I think that's powerful. And Bryson's about to cook because he's got a Bible verse up, so we're going to let him speak.
Bruh. Proverbs 19:3. A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. So we make up these plans, we do these things, and when they flop, we get mad at God like he's the reason that we're in the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
Come on, bruh.
And then only come to God when we need something. I mean, why don't we come to Him when everything is going good? Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Message.
And really, one thing when you were talking, DJ, one thing that came to my mind is really how you notice like everything that is physical or everything inanimate that we want, right? Like think about the first time you got a cell phone. You probably excited, happy.
Yeah.
Or a computer, car, whatever, right? You were very excited. All these man-made things, but I mean, after a while, it became a tool.
Yeah.
And you wake up the next morning, you're like, man, I can't believe like you got a car out there waiting on you. And you got the keys, you can go drive it whenever. And then day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, it just becomes a tool. I gotta go to work. I gotta go here. I got errands to run. It becomes a standard, like complacency, right? But one thing that never happens with is our relationship with Christ, man. It's like it's the opposite. It's like one day you wake up and you're like, man, I kind of want to seek Jesus, right? And then you wake up the next day and then you want to seek a little bit more. And then a little bit more of it, right? And so it's the exact opposite, right? Because it doesn't matter if you want like a supercar, $150,000 car, you're going to experience the same feeling. A yacht, you want a mansion, it's going to depreciate and eventually it will all go to dust. But the one thing that you have that every single day you can grow in is a relationship with Christ, man. So I say it's the exact opposite of that standard, man. It's incredible, man. It's incredible, man. God is good.
No, that's amazing. Cause I mean, I would guarantee if I was like, yo, what was the first phone you got? What was the specs? You wouldn't know.
Right? No, you wouldn't, because you have better.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, even this phone, I remember when I got it was a graduation gift, and it was like, oh my gosh, all these new things. Because I had to have iPhone 6 before that. The camera was way better. All this. Now I'm dissatisfied with it. I want a new phone, but I have never been in all my time following the Lord. Like, wow, I need a new relationship, right? I'm still discovering new things to this day. And I think, man, like you, Austin, that's so good, bro. That's powerful.
Dude, facts, man.
No, you're really spitting because it really triggered a thought from this Christian rap song I heard. And it said, took a sip of that water. The more that I drink it, I'm thirsty. The living water paradox. The more I drink the water, the more I thirst for it.
Yeah.
But guess what, though? That's the well that never runs dry.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Amen.
Never.
Dude.
It's only up, man. It's only up after that point, man. It's incredible. I mean, that's important. I mean, I've seen other people who have, the worldly definition of success is money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen people reach that financial freedom.
Yeah.
And that success from worldly standards, right?
Yeah.
But they're lacking in other ways. And that money doesn't matter at all when
Facts.
you die. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? So ultimately, I do feel like our relationship with Christ is our most valuable asset. It transcends time. Because, I mean, as long as you have that and you live your life accordingly, then you'll have life everlasting anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it transcends everything. So as long as you stay on the, like I said, the straight and narrow, then you'll see heaven.
Yeah.
Man. You'll see
No, I mean,
the light, man.
You're right. You can be financially free all you want and still a slave to your addiction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still a slave to your vice, whatever that may
Slave
be.
to money.
Slave to money.
Facts.
Right? The thing that brings you freedom, you're a slave to. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
And,
Crazy.
bruh,
Spin.
man, this episode. been
That's
fire,
heat.
bruh.
Hey, that's heat. Low key. Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. Right? The
Look.
way you gain your freedom by worldly means
Oh.
is you're enslaved to by spiritual means.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Hey, that's crazy. Hey, nah, that's hard though. That's hard.
Hey,
That's
man.
good, man.
That
For
was
sure.
hard. Dude,
sure,
oh my
man.
gosh, bro. Well, shoot, man. This episode has been one for the books, man. This has been
Nah,
a good
for
episode,
real.
man. This
great, man.
for
real.
has fire. I mean, as all of our do, but man,
Oh, yeah,
hey,
of
man,
course.
Austin, we really just appreciate you coming
Facts.
here, man, and just and being a blessing. How you are a blessing to me in my personal life, man. Really appreciate you, and you also just coming here to share some of that wisdom on this pod, man. And so we just really appreciate you coming here. And so as we get ready to wrap up, I always like to leave opportunity for if either one of y'all want to say anything in closing. Do y'all have something to say?
Man, it's really been an honor just to be here, and it's incredible because I feel like it doesn't matter how long you've known someone; it's the way that you feel when with them, right? And you'll have relationships with people you've known 10 years not feel as genuine as a relationship you have with people that you met sometimes a few weeks ago, a few days ago,
Yeah.
right? And so it's incredible. And I feel like that's the experience I've had since I've been here, is really surrounding myself with like-minded individuals like you guys, right? I mean, it's
Stop
incredible.
trying to make me cry, bro.
Hey, we almost there, man. We're almost to the
Okay,
end. Just
okay.
a few more minutes.
Just
But
hold
yeah,
on. We're going home.
I'm just, man. But yeah, I'm just. It's such a blessing, to be here, with you guys, and thank you guys for having me. I mean, that's all I have. So, man, I appreciate y'all, man. For sure, man.
brother, man.
For sure,
Yeah,
man.
love you, bro, man. Appreciate you.
No,
man, that's great.
That's real. All the people I met in college. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shout out Jaden and Landon and Cam and all my friends back at home. But man, when I think about who's gonna be my best man in my wedding, we got some people back at home, but most of them come from college. And I've known y'all for this is a year and a half, 2 years, and that's still crazy to me. That it's been that short, but those memories,
like it's been forever, right?
It's that genuine relationship, man. It just goes to show you that time, you can really redeem time, and we live in an era of unredeemed time. I mean, I think about even just how I be when I'm in my room scrolling on Instagram Reels for like 45 minutes, and it's like, wow, I really just wasted a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's time that's now not going to be redeemed. And I think you can almost become too focused on that, where you're like, I got to make every moment count. And sometimes it's good to abide, but abiding in the Lord is still redeemed time.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Enjoying your hobby is still redeemed time.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of people who have these relationships where they've been knowing each other for years, but have they really truly redeemed the time that they've known each other? And I know when I graduate college, I'm gonna walk away saying, yeah, I've redeemed every moment, every conversation in Perry cafeteria, every late night at somebody's dorm room or residence hall.
Yeah.
So that the
Residence hall. Bro, I forgot all about that.
so that my
Gotta write-
boss doesn't come after me.
Right terminology.
Yeah. And every residence hall, I mean, just every moment that I've been able to experience in college, it's been worth it. And so, like I said, we are extremely, extremely thankful for you, man.
Yes, sir.
So we wish you the best of luck
Likewise.
as you get ready to leave us and go and do bigger and better things. Do you have a plan like mapped out for what you're gonna do? in the next
Yeah,
few-
man. I mean, after graduation, that's what you're saying. Yeah, man. I mean, of course, get a job, but the job is going to serve as like a bridge. So really, I'm using it to support myself, but of course, building my brand that I've been working on, my company, is Claw Fitness. It's a high-end fitness apparel, and I have some very bold, audacious, tenacious designs that
Audacious
will cause,
and tenacious.
bro. It will cause controversy, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of good things, a lot of great things come from controversy. We have to take risks sometimes. I mean, and I believe in the future. You know what I mean? So, my product will reflect that. And so, like you said, like with the Holy Steppers, man, it took time to come into fruition. It's the same with the company, man. Like, I'm trying to put out the best quality, and really everything we do should be to the best of our ability, because we should do it, with keeping God in mind, keeping Christ in mind. I mean, he is the best, right? So we shouldn't just half do anything, right? So, I mean, it's just, even with, with Cain and Abel, I mean, just that off the top of my head is an example of, when God wanted the sacrifices, you had one that did not bring the best and the other that did bring the best. So, I mean, everything, doesn't matter how big or small, is do your best. And so for me, that's kind of what I'll be working on, man. I'll be working, hopefully, ideally remote, just so I can kind of focus on my company and also work my job as well. But yeah, I mean, I'll be traveling a lot too. So I mean, I'll be around. I'll be coming back, to see you guys, you know what I mean? And then, one day, we'll be living it up. God blesses me with a little bit of money, then, I got you guys. You know what I mean? We're gonna have some fun, man.
Stop trying to make me cry, man.
You gonna have to behave though, sir. I'll have to watch you. I have to watch you too. Actually, I'm watching both of y'all. But yeah, man, we're gonna live it up. Better days are ahead.
Hey, amen.
Best yet to come, man.
Yes,
for
sir.
sure. For sure.
Well, shoot, man. I think that is all from us. Bryson, you got anything to say?
Man, I just know, like, before we started the episode, we prayed that somebody would be touched by this conversation. I can definitely say that, like, it hit me. So,
For sure. No, I mean, for sure. Like, it's really y'all speaking to me because, I've talked about it. Over these past 2 seasons, there's been a lot of things in my life that just haven't gone well. And so it's very easy to get discouraged and to lose sight of the end goal. Yeah. And so this has been just so good because it's reminded me to keep focused on that end goal. And so this has been encouraged. You've encouraged both of us.
Yes, sir.
But hey, we getting done with this episode. So Bryson, what do we always say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, y'all be blessed. Don't stress. Do less and let God take care of the rest. We out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I need a bag. Como se dice? I make a banger that got it on replay. Why they talking about he say, she say? Probably gon' slide in there, yeah, on the